Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Eileen Brewer. I'm the director of the TAKWEEN Accelerator, and I invite you to all join us for this panel this evening. First, we'll talk a little bit about who TAKWEEN is and why we're here, and then we're going to have a great panel discussion with two good friends of mine who are founders of startups in the Kurdistan region. The TAKWEEN Accelerator is a project of the YANHAD project initiative to promote civic engagement and entrepreneurship for youth in Iraq, financed by the European Union and the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and implemented by Expertise France and hosted at the American University of Iraq, Suleimani. One of the things that I would like to talk about is a little bit of a difference between an incubator and an accelerator, because the startup ecosystem is still very young in Iraq and Kurdistan. It's important to learn what the differences are. So incubators incubate ideas and turn them into businesses. They help you with ideation and market research and give you your beginning business acumen skills. Accelerators accelerate existing businesses. So most of the time, the businesses that we work with have been running for at least 2 years, and they have some customers and revenue before they come into the accelerator. If you haven't started a business yet, you can look for one of the incubators in the country. And if you do have a business up and running, you can look at the TAKWEEN Accelerator to see if you would like to join one of our future programs. The reason why we're having this conversation and why I'm excited about entrepreneurship in Iraq is because there's money coming into the region. The MENA region received over $1 billion in revenue, in equity investing, not revenue, but equity investing from investors, which is huge. 2020 was the first year they passed the billion mark. There is strong interest in investing in startups based in the MENA region. 1/3 of the money that's coming into the region is from outside the region. So it's not just in Middle East, investing in Middle East. 1/3 is outside of the Middle East. So we have their attention, and you have a great opportunity to participate in this groundswell. It takes a few years to develop a really big, strong entrepreneurship ecosystem, but we're in the ground level of that, and you have a great opportunity to jump in. The TAKWEEN Accelerator creates an entire community. If you are a startup that's selected into one of our programs, not only do you go through a training period with 3 months, you also get mentors and subject matter experts, trainers, and investors, and opportunities to pitch to investors. And it doesn't stop the minute that the cohort is over. Both Abdu and Rabah can talk to you about how we've remained a community. We have become friends, and we continue to support each other and mentor each other so that everyone is successful. Tonight, we're going to have a conversation about how to start a business. Rawa Ali is the co-founder of Mr. Erbil, and Abdu Fabir is the founder of KurdCoin. I'm going to ask them a series of questions, but you are also more than welcome to drop some questions into the Q&A section or in the comments on the Facebook stream. We have a monitor who's keeping track of all the questions, so we'll embed your questions along with ours. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started and stop sharing my screen so we can switch over to full screen for us. Sorry. Thank you very much. All right. So first, what I'd like to do is have each one of you introduce yourselves. We'll start with Abdu, and then we'll go over to Rawa, and tell us a little bit about your background. Like, did you go to university, go to MBA strictly because you wanted to start a business, or was it something a little different than that? We'll start with you, Abdu.
Thank you, Eileen. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Abdurrahman Bapir. I am the CEO and the founder of KurdCoin. I have to say, I never thought I will ever do business, to be honest. I never thought myself of making money. I always had a job, and I was studying at university, and I thought I would go more into academia and obviously politics than business. But sometimes it comes unexpectedly. So no, I never expected to be in business. I come from an academic background. I studied politics and international relations for my bachelor's, nothing related to business. And I also did my master's in political economy of the Middle East at King's College London, which is pending to be finished hopefully next year.
Great. And why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about TAKWEEN and what they do?
So TAKWEEN is a brokerage slash exchange for cryptocurrency. It's the biggest and the first cryptocurrency exchange in the country. We allow users to buy and sell cryptocurrency locally here in Iraq with cash. So it doesn't matter where you are, whichever city or town you are in Iraq, in the whole of Iraq, you can buy and sell crypto through TAKWEEN in minutes.
Very cool. Thank you so much. All right, let's go to Rawa. Let's hear a little bit about your background and whether or not it aligned with your business, and what does Mr. Erbil do?
Yes, so thank you for today. It's a pleasure to be here with TAKWEEN and Abdur as well from TAKWEEN. So my name is Rawa Ali. I am one of the co-founders of Mr. Erbil. Some of you may heard of it already or not. So Mr. Erbil is one of the Kurdish brands who started their clothing industry from a group of 4 friends with having passion toward fashion. And we made that. It was a dream, and it was an idea, and it was a passion. All combination together, it became a startup business and a successful business. So myself, I graduated from AUIS University, and my major is information technology, and my minor is business administration. So obviously, it's what I do is part of my minor degree, which helped me through what I do now. When I graduated, like everyone else, I started as a career. I moved from a few companies, but then I realized that after 8 years, I realized that when you have a dream and when you have an idea and with passion together, it's always good to have your own business, and it is to take a risk in life and then try something new that it became your baby and it became a successful story of yours. So it's always good someone has everyone wants to come out with a good story and successful story, especially in business.
Wow, very good. So thank you both. And I know you both well, and I'm so impressed with everything that you've been able to get done over the last year or two, and the growth that you've experienced even in the last couple of months through the Accelerator and what you've done afterwards. It's a lot of fun to be in the ecosystem and meeting you. And I hope everyone else also understands and appreciates how hard it is to run a business here and how well you've done to be so successful at it. So I'd like to talk so that others can be encouraged to do the same. Let's focus back on the beginning. So what were the very first steps you took when you realized that you want to have a business? Like, I'll start with you, Abdu. So you just realized, okay, I need to do something. What should I do?
Eileen, the connection cut for a bit. So was that question towards me or to Rawa?
It was towards you. Shall I repeat it?
Please repeat the question.
Sure. So what were the very first steps you took when you realized that you actually want to start a business?
Oh, that's interesting. So as soon as I realized that the cryptocurrency is something that can help people, in their financial freedom and the markets, it gave access to a lot of people to make some money on their own. I myself, being a student, was one of those people that found some sort of way to make money through cryptocurrencies. The first step I took was I honestly thought of a name, and then I hired a graphic designer for the logo to be designed. Then right after that, I had 2 people in my mind, my cousin Baban, who's also he's watching, and also Shadi, my brother. I told them, I was like, I have this idea. Are you guys on board? Do you think it's going to be a good idea? And they were like, sounds like a very good idea. So let's do this. So basically, we sat down. We talked about how we were going to do this, and also right before I spoke to them, I had reserved all the social media usernames for TAKWEEN. But then meetings after meetings and led to the idea being what it is now.
So so the first things you did was come up with a name and then do a graphic and then talk to some friends or your brothers and say, okay, let's do this. What was the first step into beyond that, like outside of the comfort of your home?
Oh yeah, obviously that it came as a surprise for us. I mean, we did not, sometimes you underestimate your business idea and you don't know that no one else out there has either done it that well or no one actually has done it. So we wouldn't know until we tried. We started having this Facebook page, which is our Facebook page, TAKWEEN, and we were running it together. So this was our only way to, to talk to the outside world, outside of the family. To say that, look, we are buying and selling cryptocurrencies, and we started to obviously publish news and interesting analytics about cryptocurrencies, and obviously we were bombarded with messages and also calls. It was interesting, yeah.
Wow, great. So you relied on social media to reach out, and there wasn't any, yeah, and then there wasn't any money that had to be spent in the beginning.
There was not, no, zero.
Yeah, that's great. All right, Rawa, how about you? So what did you do when you first realized, okay, we want to start a business? What are the very first steps?
So ours were, I think it was a similar gathering with other youth in the community. We were in a coffee shop, me, myself, Umar, Ahmed, and Goran. We were having coffee. So we were discussing, a problem. So we were from university and high school friends. Okay, we knew each other for a long time. So we had a discussion. We came up with a discussion that where do you tailor your suit? Where do you go to buy or to mix to fix your suit or your trouser? So we had a common issue. There was a problem that we all faced in terms of lack of skills, lack of professionality, lack of an efficiency. We said, okay, this is an idea. Why not us doing it? We have the fashion. This is a great idea, and we can solve it with the knowledge and background and experience we have. We can put it into a nice idea, business idea, and then with a back with a good customer service that we can build a business. And there is many companies is doing it like this. So it was just as simple as that, and we worked on it, and then step by step we sat down, we put a plan how we can which name should be the name of the brand, which is important because you want to be recognized with the name, and you don't want to change it because this is important for your branding. So we named the business, and we start doing social media, and then we start introducing the idea to friends, to others through social media, and then we had a lot of good feedbacks about it, and then without knowing, it became a real business. It's like now we are in the game, and it was not like as easy as it is, but it was something that it was just on a coffee shop table that it became reality.
So what I heard from both of you is that you did not keep it a secret for a long time and try to build something for a long time before you showed it to your customers or potential customers or to the public. So, and you didn't spend a lot of money before you went out to the public. And I think that's really critical for people who have not ever started a business before. Sometimes we get ourselves into this box and we think we need a lot of money, we need an office space, and we need to work on building something for many months before we tell anybody we have anything. But both of you have given these beautiful examples of how with very little or no money, very little time, you came up with an idea, you brainstormed it, and you immediately started showing it to some potential customers or outside of your family and started getting feedback. So from the feedback and from how you were 2 years ago to where you are today, how big of a difference is there from that first idea to what you're doing today? Like, did you pivot many times, or were there major points of feedback from customers that really influenced what you're doing, or what you did and then maybe changed along the way? We'll go with Abdu.
I would say that the main, like the business idea, the main idea has not changed. It's that we are a brokerage, we buy and sell cryptocurrencies, but the way we do things has changed dramatically. I would say you would not recognize the business from the beginning 3 years ago until now, and the electricity is gone. I hope the internet is staying. So we had a very how to say, unbelievable transformation over the years, from people's feedbacks, from our own convenience, obviously, because a lot of times it was becoming very inconvenient to do some tasks. And so obviously you learn how to do things better, and you learn from those experiences, and obviously you do research, but usually feedback does most of the job for you, because you're trying to do what's best, how to best serve your clients and customers. And so the business is serving them. Obviously, the better it does the job, the better the business is.
Very good. Thank you. And how about you, Rawa?
So I think this is that, so when you have an idea, when you brainstormed it and you realize that this is a great idea, so you should not, the more you keep it behind the wall, and the more imagination you would have, and once you go out and live, then because you will get negative feedbacks. The more you keep it, the more positive you will be about the idea, and any negative feedback might get back and reverse in a negative way on you. So you have to be, you should always, any minute, any second, you should expect a competitor and be ready for it. You will have a competitor, be ready for it. You are unique, your idea is unique. That's why you want to start your business. So be unique and know your competitor. Be comfortable about someone else having the same idea. That's totally fine. We have thousands of ideas, maybe a million, let's say million of ideas in the world that they have the same concept or the same idea, but they are competing each other. So it makes the market beautiful. So the more competitor you have, the more opportunity for you to know your business and to know their business and how you deliver your product or your service to them in a better way. Because if you just be the only monopoly in the market, then you might not see your faults, and maybe you do something wrong, but you don't see it. And people haven't tried others. So if you have an idea, please don't beat your chest, say that I am ready to go, but be prepared for it. Have an idea about it. Be open about people's opinion, and do a market research. And don't be afraid, because you are the one who's starting your business idea, not someone else. You are the one who is motivated to start this idea, not someone else. Don't be afraid, because you see yourself the only person can do it. And this is the true way to be successful.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. So neither one of you said, I went and I got the lean canvas model template and I used it. So both of you went up and came up with your business idea and your strategy without using some of the tools that are available, because you didn't know that they existed. You just went for it. So now you've been through the TAKWEEN Accelerator. You were introduced to the lean canvas model template, which walks you through problem, solution, customers, channels. So if you were to start all over again, you want to start a brand new business tomorrow, would you lean on some of those tools? Like what did you see in the value of those tools that you might use them this time that you didn't use them last time? Do you see any advantages or not to that? Abdu?
I would definitely use the lean canvas if I were to start any new business, or if I were to start anew with my current business. In fact, it would also help right now that we use the lean canvas to know where we are going with our business and what we are doing exactly. and also other workshops that we had on design thinking, branding, and also finance and management, and also collaboration. I think we would definitely, I would do something different this time, because all the tools that are available and we didn't know about it are really helpful. And they are helpful for anyone who has a business idea and doesn't know what they are doing right now. It's not very clear where they're going. They help you, how to say, finalize the idea and kind of like have a clear picture of if you have a business idea or if it's just some idea. Because it urges you to think about the financials, the customers, the target market, the problem, the solution, and how much the costs and all of that. I think that's the lean canvas, and the rest of the things are also very useful. So I think I would definitely, I mean, we cannot do without them anymore. That's what I know.
Oh, that's great. So Rawa, you had 2 or 3 or 4 different business ideas. So once you got exposed to the lean canvas model, did you try to apply that tool or that template against some of the business ideas that you were operating?
So in the beginning, when we started, it was 2016. We had no idea about it. Thanks to the TAKWEEN team, TAKWEEN Accelerator, we just recently graduated, and they introduced us to this to the lean canvas model, and through a lot of other materials that are quite helpful to start your business. Because when we started our business, so we had a lot of ideas, we had a lot of things in our mind. We had no idea where to start. We were like taking one step and go back to the first step, and this is where it helps. These tools, it helps you to navigate better, and then also think better, and then smartly, and this way it helps you to move forward faster. We definitely, I personally definitely encourage for those who they want to start a business, go learn about the lean canvas. It's just a simple table. It makes you shape your business better from the beginning. Although there is no way in business you say it's too late. When we got introduced, we got back to our beginning. Okay, now we introduced with that, how we could start it again. Is there any way? And of course, it helped a lot. It really helped a lot in terms of what is our main focus? What problems we have solved, and how can we solve it better? And what are our customer segments? And then also like all sort of the points that's there. And then also in terms of branding, design thinking, in terms of also, let's say, research. In the beginning, for us as Mr. B, we only started with a tie, and we introduced only one product to the market, and then we gave it to people. What do you think? Please try, use it. Do you think it's comfortable? Do you think you will wear it every day? Do you think you can pay? How much do you think you can pay for this? And this is all part of and we have learned in a different way, but we learned with TAKWEEN more professionally how to use how to use templates, how to use other websites and applications that can help you navigate these things easily.
Okay, great. In the questions, thank you so much, Rawa, because you have a lot going on with all the different products that you offered. I'm sure that there was a lot of brainstorming and changing paths and trying to figure out what is good. I'm going to jump over to the Q&A and answer a couple of questions that have come in. But when I come back, I'm going to ask you about big mistakes, like explaining. So I'll give you a moment to think about a big mistake that you would like to share about. But first, I'm going to go over and answer some of the Q&A questions. So one of the questions came in, asked about the difference between 5-1 Labs and the TAKWEEN Accelerator. So 5-1 Labs is an incubator. And TAKWEEN is an accelerator. So incubators help you incubate ideas. So if you have no business yet, but you have an idea and you really want to start a business, an incubator is a great place to start. They will help teach you the lean canvas model. They'll teach you about market research, and they'll help you validate your idea to see if it's a legitimate business or not. Once your business has been running for a year or two, then you move to an accelerator. Accelerators accelerate existing businesses. They already have products, they have customers, they have revenue, and we help them grow and accelerate and become bigger faster. So that's that question. The second question we have here is for Rawa. Since the job you do is less reliant on social media and online platforms, with the start of COVID, what approach did you take to keep your work up and going? What is it that you did to adjust to the new normal, given that there was a big economic hit to the region?
Yeah, so thank you for the questions. So this is great questions. You know, COVID, that was something unpredictable that happened, force majeure that happened to all the businesses else in the world. And so so the first thing when you facing an issue in terms of, let's say, your revenue comes down and then your expenses, your fixed cost is still there, how you take care of it. So this is the best thing for you as an entrepreneur. Please, you have to understand your financials. You have to understand your P&L. Okay, you are facing a reality. How can I cut costs? What can I do to survive? So you have to think of what I have done. Now things has changed. You have to be quick to make decision, to adapt yourself into a new reality. You should not sit down and cry about it. Oh, you know, what happened? You know, be emotional about it. You will be emotional. We were emotional about it, but we had to make a decision. And we made the decision that in terms, let's say, let's increase online selling. And one of the things, we never made masks. We said, okay, we can make masks. We can make your reusable mask with better, rather than everyone, people can, you know, be a part of the fashion and then be also environmentally friendly, rather than they wear a mask, throw it, wear a mask, a new one. So you just buy one and then you wear it, you wash it. So these are the things you have to come up with new product. We never thought about Mr. Ali will make masks. And also and then of course you have to adapt the restriction of make sure that you follow the instruction of the health. You also make sure that, you know, any other source of income or through sales pipe that you never thought of it. How can I add these two into your business? And this is increasing your revenue, and also expenses as well. What are the extra expenses that I can cut to survive? And sometimes you might end up losing employee. This is emotional, this is sad, but you have to be realistic. You have to, and for us, we ended up changing our location. And purposely, I put my background. This is the old location that we had. Purposely, I put that, but because this is something, a dream that we started, but we are emotional about it, but we never gave up. We thought about, okay, how we can adapt ourselves. So you have to make decision. You have to be quick. You have to be realistic and take advantage of what the resources you have. So I hope I answered.
Yes, very good. Thank you so much. Yes. So it's a conversation about what are we doing well? Where does our revenue come from? If the revenue stops from this one place, how else can I make money, make revenue, and how quickly can I switch over? So I promised everyone that we would talk about mistakes. So the next question we're going to ask is about, I'd like you to share, because often what happens is people have this perception that Mr. Erbil or Kurtcoin are these really successful businesses. So they must have done everything right from day one. and they didn't have any problems or mistakes or bad days. So let's hear about some mistakes or bad days. We'll go with you, Abdu.
I'm glad you asked this because obviously from the outside, people think like, oh, wow, Kurtcoin, or Mr. Erbil, but that's the reality is that we also have had to deal with a lot of challenges and obviously still do deal with a lot of problems. And we've made our mistakes and we've learned from them and we continue to learn from the mistakes we make. Ours started very good. Obviously, the business went very well. But obviously, when you are new in any kind of trade or business, you don't know that everything. Obviously, the risks you might underestimate them, and the problems that might come your way, you don't see them. We started to lose a lot of money because we're dealing with cryptocurrencies. In 2017, we lost a large amount of money. Most of that money was given to us by friends and relatives. For us to, in return for monthly profits. And obviously it went down really bad and it took us over 2 years to recover. Obviously in the process, that's how Kurtcoin became what it is now. Because in the process, we're trying to recover from that loss and also learn from previous mistakes. So every setback was also a lesson at the same time. So we've had numerous mistakes and setbacks, and I'm glad for every single one of them. Without them, we would not be what we are now. But be sure that you will make mistakes when you start a business, and that's what's going to make your business successful later on.
So what helped you? Because that was a huge moment, and that was a huge moment in time with a lot of money lost, and you could have walked away. So what happened that you didn't just walk away and say, I failed, I can't pay the money back, I'm out of business, and I'm not going to try again? Can you talk a little bit? Can you think about what happened there?
I think for a founder or for someone who's running a business, this mentality of wanting to solve a problem and taking challenge is really necessary. Obviously, taking risk is very primary, but after that, you have to be willing to take challenges and to solve problems. So I was approaching it with this mindset that I have to fix this and I have to make it right. And because for me, it was Roba said, this is like your child. You've been spending so much time tending to it and trying to, raise the child. This business is your product. You've been working on it. You don't want to leave it there. So the challenge is always there, obviously, but during times like that, for example, you have, you want to take the challenge. You want to face it with more determination, I think. And so what happened is that in that moment, I realized that I need to dedicate more time and more energy to making this business work, because I knew that, the problems the mistakes that we had made were not because the business idea was bad, was because we didn't have the experience for it. So I think it was mostly that, but also secondarily because I'm not a quitter. I don't quit. I thought I need to pay this back to all these people who have invested with me, and that was my motivation.
That's great. I'm going to ask both of you very quickly, and then I'm going to go to Rawa, and we're going to talk about a mistake that he may have made. But first, how many hours a day do you work? Non-stop, year after year. So Abdu, how many hours a day do you work?
I don't want to say that to scare anyone off, but I work 12 to 18 hours a day. And
how about you, Rawa?
Yeah, it is. One thing from career to become an entrepreneur, it's that you have to invest more time. And for me as well, with my co-founders, minimum we are spending 16 hours a day. 15. I wake up 7:30, and I have gone back home 12 midnight, had dinner by 12 midnight, and then go back to sleep, and then next day wake up. Yeah, this is your dream, your passion. You wouldn't even think about it. Okay, what have the day gone? Because this is your passion,
Right. And you both have been doing that, not just for a month or two or a year, but several years because of that passion. So Rawa, let's talk about some mistakes. So Mr. Erbil has this beautiful brand. Everybody's familiar with it. They look like they're just top of the line doing great things. Let's hear about something that might have happened behind the curtain where you're thinking, oh my gosh, we have to stop. We're right at that point of we're going to fail. We have to close our doors, or what happened?
Well, obviously, yeah. I mean, you should not be afraid that you should be expecting as perfect as you go into the market. You will have mistakes, and you should not be ashamed of it, because we will be not be thinking of every point that we want to. But for us, the mistakes that we made is that in the beginning we did a market research, but it was not as perfect as we wanted. Sometimes in the market research that we also have learned from TAKWEEN, that you, instead of you going give the idea or give the product to the customer to give their feedback to you, you try to convince them to give you good feedback. And also sometimes the closest people that you go ask about market research, you do market research about your product, is their friends. And your friends is always nice to you, so they will not tell you, they might not tell you. So for us, most of our customers, they are not our close friends when we did our market research based on and so it's that. So but after that we did more market research, and we adapted to the market. We learned that this is something that we were prepared for, but when we went to the realization, and then we said, okay, there is something else. There is another expectation from us. So how can we quickly adapt? So the quicker you take action, it's the better. But we learned about the mistake and we fixed it. And and we never gave up. We were so close most of the time, especially when you are in a period that you haven't gone by, your location or your started is just, you do it on social media. There is always, we face so many times, like, why are we doing it? There is no revenue. We don't make any money. We're spending a lot of time. Why we should do this? You know, but because it was something, a dream, it was something in the beginning, we asked ourselves, can we do this for the rest of our life? Can we run this business for the rest of our life, no matter where there is no revenue? So this is the good thing, that, you know, you have idea, dream, and passion. The passion always covers. So we made mistakes, we learned from it, and we even took the mistake as a lesson learned, and we took it in a better shape into the business.
Great, thank you very much. So Abdu, we have a couple of questions specifically about crypto. So I'm going to go straight into asking you these. The first one is, what is the minimum amount of crypto that the customers can buy from the Tkoin platform?
At the moment, the minimum amount for Bitcoin and USD Tether is $2,000 US, and the minimum amount for the alternative coins or the altcoins, anything that's not Bitcoin or Tether, is $5,000 US.
Great, thank you very much. And also, can you tell us whether or not the business is registered?
We are not registered yet. We're working on the registration in KRG.
And I will share with everyone that part of being in the TAKWEEN Accelerator, we offer some free legal counsel, and we have been working with Tkoin and 2 or 3 of the others working on helping them get registered. So that's one of the perks of being in the Accelerator. So Rawa, could you talk a little bit about the registration process? How did that go for you?
Yes, so we, as soon as we start having our location, we decided to register ourselves, because this is one thing that we are for co-founders. We said we have to have a company so that we will be, we will have a company that leads us to the next phase. And so the illustration is that always, I know it takes some time, It is a lot of process, but the best way to handle it is to have a lawyer, because they know the gateways, they know how to do it quicker, and it costs you a little bit of fees, the professional fee to the lawyers, but it's better to do it through a lawyer, that they can go ahead and register for you. There is some challenges about taking names. Make sure that when you brand your product or your business, make sure that you go ahead and test the registration office, because the names should, when you register a name of a company, the name should be noun and it should have a meaning. It should not be adjective, it should not be verb or something. So it has to have a name. And so that way, this might give you some difficulties, but hopefully, as we were invited about 2 weeks ago to the Prime Minister as well, among some other local office with some other local businesses as well, there was good intention that the registration will be much better. And so they already asked us what are the difficulties we face. So hopefully soon these difficulties will be, especially within the name, because a lot of people we know that they gone through the registration of names, they had to change the name of the brand. But in general, it's always good to have to register your business, because now we are dealing with NGOs, with companies B2B, that the first thing they ask us, do you have a registered company? Do you have a bank account? If you don't have a registered company, then you will not have a bank account with your business. So it is costly to register a business, but it's always beneficial when you have a tender or you have a contract, because they will not wait for you for 2 months to register your business. So it's
Right.
happening.
Yes. So you can get started in an incubator and get the idea going and work on your company name and a brand and some logos, but at the same time, start investigating. There's a website available where you can put in different prospective company names and get some feedback. It's a KRG government site and help you with that process of finding names that can be accepted for registration. I have another question for Abdu coming from the audience. It's asking about how did you convince friends and family to actually invest in cryptocurrency?
I was trying to type it down, the answer. It was not very difficult, because when people start to see that you're successful at what you're doing, they invest in you. Obviously, they invested in the business idea. Most of them, they invested in Coin rather than cryptocurrency, because we were like, we're not going to buy cryptocurrency for you. We're going to trade it for you, which means on the profit, we're going to give you a share. So that's why it was not very difficult to convince them. But I have to tell you, once people think that there's profits in some sort of business and their money is going to get some good returns, they will give you their money. Like, they will force you to take their money. It's just, they know that there's risk, but the potential for profit is always, motivating people, I think.
Great, you're right. It's the FOMO, fear of missing out, right? So Rawa, I have a question for you. Did you register in KRG only, or have you also registered in Federal Iraq?
We have registered only the KRG for the moment. So hopefully once we are expanded to the rest of the cities in the Iraq as well, we will be registering there definitely.
Okay, great. We have the last question because we were trying to wrap it 45 minutes instead of a whole hour. So this last question goes back to the concern about how many hours you work. So yes, you're working a lot of hours. How do you feel about work-life balance? Is there a concern that you're working too hard? How are you handling that? Either one of you can go first.
Okay, I can
go ahead.
So yeah, of course, it's not always is about working. Definitely you should. So the employees who work with you, they will be kind of part of family. So you should spend time with them. You will have dinner with your employee, make connection with your employee. This is the best thing. And also fun place for yourself and for your employees as well. Make them feel they are working for their own business rather than your business. Because if you wake up every day and saying, oh, I have to spend my next 10 hours of that day with these people you're not comfortable with, you should immediately think about changing that. And you should also, your employees should not have the same mindset. So you should definitely make a balance in your life. You should spend time with your friends.
Oh, darn, I think we lost him. How about you, Abdul?
I think he's back, but I'll go ahead. I think the work-life balance is really essential, obviously, and it's a constant struggle. You want to maintain this balance regardless of how much work you have to do, obviously, for your health and also for your well-being in general. I would say that you will manage because the work becomes your life, and so basically you can work anywhere. You will be, and nowadays because of we're tech-based businesses, we can do the work everywhere. You'll be sitting with the family, you're finishing some task, you're working on something, but you're having a nice chat with some friends. You can go to a coffee shop and do the work. So you kind of try to blend both of them at some times, and sometimes you're just able to take a couple hours off and just go with family and friends. But I think it's possible, and it should be a priority.
Very good. Thank you. So you figured out ways to work a lot of hours, but still be involved and spend time with family and create almost like a family environment in the workspace as well. So those were great answers to those questions. That is all the time we have for this evening. And I'm really happy to have been able to spend the time with both of you. I always enjoy the chances that we get together. And I hope that everybody enjoyed the panel. This was live streamed on Facebook. So if you joined late or missed any of it, you can go back to our Facebook page and watch the whole panel over. You can share it with your friends, and you can tell us in the comments if you learned anything from the panel today. We encourage you all to go out and try to become entrepreneurs and go through ideation, get the lean canvas model, and start a business. TAKWEEN will be there for you when you're ready. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Bye-bye.